She was one of the first women to step up to a microphone and change what was possible in hip-hop. And now, the voice that helped shape an entire era has fallen silent. Doreen C. Broadnax, known to generations of fans as Sparky D, has passed away at the age of 61. News of her death began to circulate in early July 2026, shared first by those within the community who understood exactly how much she meant to the culture. At the time of this recording, her family has chosen not to make the specific medical details public, and that privacy deserves complete respect. What we do know is that the loss is being felt across hip-hop, from the pioneers who stood beside her in the 1980s to the younger generations, who learned her name when they started studying the roots of the music they love. Sparky D was born on June 2, 1965 in Brooklyn, New York. She came of age at the exact moment when hip-hop was moving from park jams and neighborhood parties to records, radio, and national attention. For a young woman in that environment, the microphone was not always an open door. Spaces were often dominated by men, and the idea of a woman standing toe-to-toe with the biggest names in the game, trading verses and commanding respect, was still new. Sparky D walked straight into that reality and refused to be pushed to the side. She is best remembered for her part in what came to be known as the Roxanne Wars, the series of answer records and back-and-forth tracks sparked by Roxanne in the mid-1980s. With Sparky's turn Roxanne You're Through and other releases, she didn't just add another song to the pile. She helped invent a format. The idea that a woman could respond, defend her own perspective, and deliver it with authority and humor became a blueprint. In a moment when hip-hop was still figuring out its rules, Sparky D proved that women could be central to the story, not just supporting characters. Her style was direct, confident, and unafraid to be playful. Sparky D's verses carried the energy of someone who knew how to stand in a circle and hold her own, whether the audience was a handful of people on a Brooklyn corner or listeners across the country spinning her latest record. That confidence did not come from an easy life. In interviews, she was honest about having gone through experiences that would have broken many people. She spoke about being hurt in relationships, about struggling with dependency, and about making choices she later had to work hard to recover from. What mattered most to her was that she was still here, still telling the truth, and still showing younger artists that survival itself is a form of strength. That honesty became part of her legacy. Sparky D was not just a pioneer because she was early. She was a pioneer because she was real. When she spoke about her past, she did so without glamorizing the pain and without hiding from it. For fans who had lived through similar things, hearing someone they admired acknowledge those experiences out loud was a form of recognition. And for younger listeners, her story served as a reminder that the people they see on stage are human beings, carrying histories that are often complicated and difficult. In recent years, Sparky D continued to make appearances, give interviews, and share her reflections on the era she helped shape. Clips from one of her later conversations, in which she spoke about feeling the weight of mortality and sensing that her time might be limited, have now taken on a different meaning. She talked about wanting to make sure her story was told correctly, about wanting credit for the doors she opened and the paths she cleared. Those words feel especially important today, as tributes pour in and people revisit her catalog to understand why her name keeps coming up when the history of women in hip-hop is discussed. The formal obituary of Sparky D's life will list the basics. Born June 2, 1965. Died July 2026, aged 61. It will mention that she was an MC from Brooklyn, that she was part of the Roxanne Wars, that she recorded influential tracks in the 1980s. But the real obituary lives in the way people are talking about her now. Fellow artists are remembering shows where she lit up the stage and refused to be overshadowed. Fans are sharing how they first heard her on a mixtape or a late-night radio show, and realized that the voice they were listening to belonged to a woman who sounded like she had something to prove, and succeeded. Her passing also arrives in a moment when conversations about women's contributions to hip-hop are more visible than ever. Documentaries, books, and anniversary projects are finally beginning to center the women who were there from the beginning. Sparky D's name is now being spoken with the respect that her work has always deserved. She helped create a space that later artists could step into, often without realizing who had pushed the door open in the first place. That is one of the quiet truths of cultural history. The pioneers are sometimes the ones whose names take the longest to be fully recognized. Doreen C. Broadnax, Sparky D, born June 2, 1965 in Brooklyn, New York, died July 2026 at the age of 61. A battle-tested MC, a truth-teller, and one of the women who helped build hip-hop from the ground up. Rest in peace, Sparky D. Thank you for watching.